Here I have a box of old valves that I bought off someone for a couple of dollars, just because I haven't actually owned one for quite a while. So I thought and there's a few of these older ones, quite large ones, which are often radio valves. So I thought I'd grab them and see what I actually get here, even if I just use them as a display thing. Be kind of good to have a look at a few of them again. So I'll do these a bit of a clean up. And something you could actually do with these is just find out which pins are the heaters and hook them up, have them glowing. And a guy in a museum, local museum, the Sound Preservation Society, was talking about actually drilling, maybe breaking this little base bit off, or drilling a hole somewhere in the base and putting an orange LED under there, just so you could have a bit of a display for the school kids and stuff that actually shows what these valves look like when they're running. That actually looks like it's got a crack in the case of that one. I'm pretty sure that might have been gas, that one. Oh, there's no white. Where's the getter in this thing? Normally you can tell if a valve's, so yeah, I think that might be the getter, that little metal bit down there, and it does look a bit white underneath. Often if they've got a white, any sort of white powdery looking stuff on the inside, they've been gassed. But yeah, that seems to have a definite crack in it. A 5Y3, someone's scratched into that, so that one might not be much good. Still alright as a display piece, but that one's quite a busy little one inside. I don't know much about valves, but I'm guessing that's like a pentode or something with a lot of connections. What do we got here? So Radiotron, made in Australia, 1/4, whatever that is. And interestingly, no number on it. But yeah, it's got quite a lot of stuff going on in there. Little mica plates that hold everything apart. These are basically made much like a light bulb, but with a lot more connections. Base is loose on it. Often the case, the old glue they used in these cracks and goes loose. I've not seen one of these style valves for quite a while. These seem to only be used in televisions, late black and whites. That's actually made in USA, 21HB5 RCA, and I think that's what they were used, just black and white portable televisions, possibly the later ones that were hybrid, some transistors and some valves. But yeah, it's a bit different. I have not seen one of those since like the 1980s, I don't think. Got a 6X5GT Radiotron, made in Australia again. So it's got a nice badge on it, and on the base it's got that 1/4 symbol thing on there. I don't know what that means, but that's a lot simpler, less pins on it, and it almost looks like it's only got like 4, maybe 6 connections, or some of those pins are wired together possibly, or maybe those leads are just moulded into the glass. I can see something going down, so maybe not. It's got I can see a little spiral heater element, and then one more connection going up to the little tube around that heater element. So I guess that's the cathode, isn't it? I think they heat. And maybe that's the anode, the big bit. I'm not sure it's got an actual grid or anything in there, maybe. I guess that's another thing we could look at in this one. This is quite an interesting... It's only got 5 connections. So I assume there's maybe 2... Are they wired together? Hard to tell. Maybe a couple of separate heaters going up inside there. I don't know if they ever had 2 heater valves. And it's got 2 pins going right up with wires that come back across. So I have no idea what on earth that is. Maybe some sort of rectifier diode type setup. These have been in someone's shed for an awful long time in the dirt and filth by the look of it. Made in Australia, Philips Miniwatt 6SK7 GT/G N22. So it's like got a metal base on it. Still the larger, older style valve. No idea what it is or what it did. But that's got like a metal shield around it, so you can't see much of the workings, although this one's got the metal shield as well. Not sure if that shield is the actual grid or something, probably not, I guess. Here's another one of these little stumpy fat ones. don't think I've actually seen this case before. Normally it's like a Nixie tube or something used to come in these sort of little stumpy cases. Is that an 8B10? USA again, so this must have been an American sort of style of doing things. A lot of connections on it. It's like at the end of a picture tube. I mean, both those have an awful lot of connections, so maybe these later valves had a lot more inside them, like a double of a normal valve or whatever. It looks like it used to say RCA on there, so it's another. It looks like someone's probably pulled an old, maybe even a GE or something, portable television. 15BD11, so maybe they are multiple. I guess that number of elements. That's why it's an 8 rather than a 6 or whatever. Although 6 was the voltage kind of thing of it, I think. I really forget the standard 6x5. So is that the number of elements or something? And the heater voltage, 15BD11. I doubt it runs off 15 volts. That's a GE by the look of it. Can't read what that really says. Looks a bit like Connecticut, but don't know. Probably just because I see Made in America, I think that, but there's somewhere on there, something, what a long word. That sounds definitely iffy. So whatever it is loose in the base, so maybe that's just the glue that's come loose. See, that getter there is that silver coating. It's a 6B6G. And I think that's what tends to go white, something around there, if the air gets inside, if the glass envelope gets broken somewhere. Radiotron Australia 12, that's got that 1/4 thing, maybe that's the manufacturer number or something, but yeah, I think that might just be broken glue. I've got an AWA, proper Australian company, Amalgamated Wireless Australasia, 6SQ7 GT. No idea what that is either. And a couple more of these little American ones by the look of it. Didn't see a lot of American valves in Australia, but obviously a few made it. USA 17BF11, is that what the other one was? No, what had the large number? Oh, it's the 8. That was a 15BD11. That's a 17BF maybe, 11, yeah. And one more of them. Yeah, a lot of pins on them, so I assume there's a lot more elements inside, and that's got something to do with these numbers. That's a 17JZ11. So maybe they're like multiple valves in the one case. God, there's all sorts in here. Another GE, so something American has been pulled to bits by the look of it. A GK5, I think that says. USA GE. Oh, it's electronics, I think it says. Tube made in the USA. Nice little compact one, so that would have been getting towards the end of the valve era, which again, those ones with the multiple elements in or whatever they are, those American ones, I think they're all later ones. It's actually made in Australia. AWA, let's say Super Radiotron, I think. 6AL5, I think that is. Tiny little thing. Didn't see many ones that small in equipment that I remember. Most of them are the larger ones. Certainly more like these other ones here. Another little tiny AWA Super Radiotron made in Australia. 6CB6. I guess I could do some research and find out what the hell these things actually are. A 6CG7, I think that. Was that a CG6 or CB6? Mini watt, so that's a Philips again, I think. Where did I put that Philips? I'm pretty sure Mini Watt was the Philips brand. Yeah, that was the one, wasn't it? Philips Mini Watt. They were quite common in Australia because Philips made quite a lot of stuff here. Had factories and stuff, I think. 6BH6 maybe. Hultron England. That says Hultron. Made in England. Yeah, again, didn't see a lot of British valves here either, so God knows what these have come out of. Someone's bent all the pins yanking out of the socket. If you pull them out of the socket to one side, that's what they end up looking like. That looks like another AWA. Yeah, super, whatever they were. And, oh yeah, I can just make out 6HG8, I think that is. Yeah, a lot of pins on it. Compared to some of these earlier ones. Bit of broken glass in there, I better watch myself. Mini Watt Australia 6AV6. None of these really mean anything to me, these numbers. I got into electronics after the valve era. 6BU8, I think that says. Super Radiotron Australia. Yeah, AWV, because that's what I thought. I think AWA, that's actually got the AWA symbol on it, but I always remember it as AWV, so I guess it's Amalgamated Wireless Valve or something. Another GE, made in the USA. And that's a 6JN8. Getting down into the rubbish now, leaves and stuff. 6EW6. No brand on it by the look of it. Long disappeared. Some bit of rubber, looks like a bit of a moulding around a fuel line or something out of a car, that does. And that was a Mini Watt, a 6EM5 I think. Or 6 yes, EM5 I'm pretty sure. Also Mini Watt, looking at those T's on the end there. And the last one is a 6CG7. Rather dirty one too, AWV. Yeah, it doesn't look like they actually put any more branding on them. Some of these AWV ones. But that looks like it's it. I don't know what this box used to be. Whether it's old or new, what's it got on the bottom of it? Oh, it's an Australia Post box by the look of it. There's someone's name crossed out. So I don't think that box is particularly old, doesn't give us much indication. That'd be fair, I think it's a bit different to the modern Australia Post. Oh, yeah, it's a post pack, you can see it there. Mailing box. X1 220 by 160 77 A5. Yeah, I better toss all that in the rubbish to go to the tip. But yeah, if anyone knows anything about these things, let me know in the comments. But they're like some good old school valve radio valves. Then we got these American type things, which I've only ever seen these used in, like I say, old black and white TVs, but they may have been used in other things. And then these were a very common size valve, some AWA, some Mini Watts, and that, whatever that one was from Britain, Hultron or something, Haltron. But interesting to see these things again. Not quite in the right order, but that's a funny little one, that one. So there you have it. Probably cost me about 20 cents each or 10 cents each, so I can't really complain about that. Might give these a proper clean up though. You've got to be careful cleaning them because it tends to take the labels off them. But they probably would make a bad little display set up along a board or something. Maybe just with the glass and the base sticking up. And yeah, if you put a little LED or something, even if you poked it up behind the back, it'd probably be enough just to light them up orange. That could make for an interesting little display. Anyway, thanks for watching.